Okay, so today we're going to have quiz number 3. It'll be at the end of this class. I've shortened it to 35 questions, and so I've also shortened the time to 35 minutes. So the quiz will start at 3:10. And this quiz covers telecommunications, particularly the wireless part of telecommunications, the cell networks. It covers computer security at both the machine level and the internet level. And it says it covers privacy, but since I never did talk about privacy, it's really not on there, although it says it's on there. I am going to talk about privacy right now, until it's time for the quiz to start. Your assignment on PowerPoint is due this coming Saturday. Next week I will be giving extra credit on this assignment for people who present the assignment in class or who present the assignment to me in a private session or to the grader in a private session. At the beginning of class next Tuesday, I'll have some cards. You put your name on it if you want to make a presentation for extra credit. I will be giving no extra credit, 10 points extra credit, 20, 30, depending on how good I think the presentation is and if it deserves extra credit. However, you got to have a good PowerPoint presentation where you actually make the presentation or not. If you have just a plain vanilla PowerPoint presentation and don't get extra credit, that doesn't mean you'll get a good grade. A plain vanilla PowerPoint presentation without evidence of much work will get you a grade of maybe 70. Okay? A good PowerPoint presentation, we'll get 80. Really good one will get you 90. Any questions about that? Next week I'll also be giving you your last assignment number 4. Assignment number 4 is going to be on databases. It's going to be on the Access database system by Microsoft. So in the lectures ahead, I'll be talking quite a bit about Microsoft Access and how it works, and we'll learn how to build a database system in Microsoft Access. Okay, any questions about the agenda? As you know, a lot of law in English-speaking countries derive from English common law going back to the Middle Ages. English common law is maybe a little peculiar among countries about privacy. In the English common law, there is one maxim that's very, very old. A man's home is his castle. Okay? And that's been interpreted to mean that even the king himself cannot come into your home. Okay, and that's your private domain. And so we are a country and a culture that respects privacy. We don't want Big Brother watching us and everything that we do. And we like to have a lot of personal freedom. Now, that's, been the way it's been most of my life. The government can't wiretap, in my telephone conversations, without, some good reason. And the good reason has to be presented to the judge, you know, and the judge has to decide there's good reasons, you know, for my phone to be wiretapped. And it doesn't happen, you know, that often. And but what's happened since 9/11 is the following. When 9/11 happened, the Bush administration wanted to do a lot more wiretapping than it had before. It wanted extra privileges in wiretapping, particularly suspects, you know, who might be involved in terrorism. So this has created sort of a tension in the last decade, since 9/11, about public protection against terrorism and privacy. And it's something that's had to be reevaluated, I would say. So in this section, we want to talk about U.S. privacy protection laws and U.S. privacy invasion laws. So the privacy protection laws refers to legislation designed to protect the private information of U.S. citizens. This is particularly important then with respect to computers, because a lot of our information is stored on computers. Then U.S. privacy invasion laws refers to legislation that is invasive to the individual privacy for a perceived greater good of the country. So here is President Bush protecting the homeland. Surveillance is the close monitoring of electronic technology such as wiretapping, data mining, remote video, audio, GPS, and RFID. We've already talked about GPS and RFID. What's GPS? Global Positioning System, okay? I mean, somebody can go in and stick something on your car, right? Without your knowledge, right? And then your car basically can be tracked. RFID, what is that? What's RFID stand for? Radio frequency ID. It's these little tags, okay, that's on your credit card. So it's another form of something that can be used to track you. Here on the U of H campus, how much are you tracked? How many cameras are here on this campus? You don't have any idea, right? But a bunch, right? In fact, you're tracked everywhere outside of the buildings, okay? When you go from one building, you walk on this campus from one building to another, basically your walk will be recorded, okay, by a series of video cameras. One of the big problems in surveillance, one of the computer science problems that's important in video cameras, and something that's being researched here, is the following. Suppose you have a camera over here somewhere. This camera has a certain field of vision. And then you have another camera somewhere else. This camera has a field of vision. Then suppose the person comes walking along here. Then what happens is at this point right here, this person enters the field of vision of this camera here. But it continues in the field of vision of this camera over here. Okay. But at this point here, It's in the field division of this camera here. And so there is this overlapped area. Okay. And there's an area when he's in the red only, when he's in the red and the green, and when he's in the green only. And so it's an interesting problem in computer science to connect all these dots, okay, to realize that this is the same person, okay? That is, when this person enters here, if you give this person an ID, say ID 1, okay, call him, this is 111, so in the red, you know, this is red 1, red 1, red 1. And to connect this person over here, green 1, to be able to say that red 1 is equal to green 1, and is an important problem in computer science, okay? These are not two different people, and so doing that is an interesting computer science problem. And but that's one of the things that's worked on here in our department. So here's some of the monitors in some place. Behavioral targeting. This is another way of saying profiling, right? Behavioral targeting, okay, uses information about a person's behavior to inform businesses and marketers. There's a big case right now on television about a person's behavior, okay? What is it? The what? Anyone know the big issue that's being followed? Every television station, you know, has got information about it right now. What was it? It was in what state? Florida. Okay, what happened in Florida? Yeah, who got shot and for what reason? What was going on? Yeah, this is a black guy, right? And he was a young kid, like a teenager, and he was walking in this neighborhood, and he had one of those jackets that has a hood on it. And there was in that neighborhood a group of people called, you know, neighborhood watch group. And this man Zimmerman is his name, in the neighborhood watch group, saw this kid, you know, walking along, and the fact that he had this hood on raised Zimmerman's, you know, concern. And Zimmerman approached the guy, you know, saying, you know, what are you doing here? And when it turned out that Zimmerman, you know, killed this kid, right? Zimmerman is saying that, well, they got into a big fight, you know, and he got hurt himself and all this. But what's the most recent news on that? Well, the police had a tape of Zimmerman, okay? They arrested Zimmerman, okay, and brought him into the police department, okay? And he didn't seem to be hurt at all, you know. And so he seems that you know, but he was not telling the truth here. So anyway, this is, I think, an extreme example of behavioral targeting, but it is something that is certainly taking the news today. Target shaping refers to controlling the flow of network traffic in order to optimize performance by delaying some packets in favor of others. Okay. In 2008, FCC Chairman Kevin Martin and fellow FCC commissioners scolded Comcast for its traffic shaking practices. Transparency is when a person keeps little or nothing secret from the world. a lifestyle that is supported by technologies such as livecasting, microblogging. Justin Kahn, founder of Justin TV, streams his life over the web from a video camera and microphone on his cap. Well, you know, it's like Facebook and these other social, you know, some people just put up everything. A lot of it's not very interesting, you know. And who cares, you know. But yet they put up the most minute details, you know, of their life. And, you know, if you're in the that person's group of friends, you know, I suppose you can read them or not. Okay, well that's all there is there about privacy. I want to look briefly at ethics. So ethics is a branch of philosophy that deals with issues of morality, consideration of what human actions and reactions are morally right and wrong. Ethics is a big thing in computers. Suppose you're a computer person and you're working for a company in the computer business and you leave that company. You quit and you go to work for another company. Now, when you go to work for this second company, you know a whole lot about the old company, right? Now, what are you allowed to take with you, you know, from the old company to the new company? What's ethical? I mean, you can't leave your mind with the old company, right? Right? I mean, your mind has to go with you. And you know, you can't just forget what you know there, right? But well, what do you think is ethical, okay, in going from the old company to the new company? Let's suppose this new company is in essentially the same business as the old company, and so you'll be producing a competitive product with the old company. So what's clearly not ethical to you? Well, to me, and I also think this is true in the law, okay, it's not ethical to actually take files from the old company or programs. That is, it's not ethical to email yourself, okay, files from the old company, data from the old company, customer lists from the old company, programs and data from the old company. Okay? That's clearly illegal. Okay? And if you do that, not only is it unethical, but it's illegal. What is ethical? Well, I think in general, what is felt by people in the industry is anything that's in your head, okay, it's not written down, or nothing, but just in your head. Anything you can take in your head, that's legal. Okay. Now, you might remember some customers from the old company. You might remember some things from the old company, but if it's in your head, it's just in your head. Okay. Now you might have some special contract with the old company. Sometimes when you join a company and you're kind of a critical person because of what you know, you might sign an agreement with that company that if you leave them, you will not take a competitive position for 2 years after you leave them. Okay? And some companies require that as a way, as a price for getting your job. So there's personal computer ethics, professional computer ethics, governmental computer ethics, accessible computing, green computing, and the digital divide. The personal computer ethics. Personal computer ethics refers to the responsible user of computers by individuals outside the professional environment. Okay? Responsible use of computers by individuals outside the computing profession. Professional computer ethics, okay, involves the ethical use faced by professionals in their use of computer systems as part of their jobs. Government computer ethics refers to a government's responsibility to create laws to protect citizens from unethical computer use and provide citizens with equal access to computers and information technologies as well as their benefits. Accessible computing refers to providing equal access to computers and information technologies for individuals with disabilities. Who is this guy here? Obviously a disabled person, but who is he? Anybody know him? He's a very important, very famous person. Well, yes, exactly. And Hawkins is a physicist, okay? A very famous theoretical physicist. Yeah, did you know he actually teaches at Texas A&M?
Is he really?
Part-time. He comes to Texas A&M ever so often and gives lectures. And the lectures are open to the public. You can actually go up there and hear him, Yeah. His big book is on time. Green computing refers to the efforts of individuals, environmental conscious practices, the manufacturing use of digital technologies. Actually, computing is sort of a green industry. Computers don't cause much, I guess, environmental hazards. Not like some other industries. It's a relatively clean industry. Getting rid, you know, of old computer parts, except for say batteries, you know, is a fairly clean thing. It used to be that computers, the circuits had a good bit of gold in them. Did you know that? And so when they would tear down old computers and recycle them, they would say the gold content was non-trivial. And basically they would melt down these old boards and get the gold out of them. I don't think they have quite as much content of gold in them as they used to. So the digital divide refers to the social and economic gap between those who have access to computers and the internet and those who do not. You may think of this as, I guess, poor people versus rich people, but it's not just that. It's, you know, the adaptability that people have to computers. Okay, has the quiz started? Okay. Well, good luck.